Good morning. My name is Emmy from Emmy Evolving. If this is your first time joining me live, welcome. This is not your first time joining me live. Thank you for coming back. So now is a good time for you to go ahead and subscribe to this channel. I wanted to have a talk. I'm launching my Facebook. So I am live off Facebook and YouTube at the same time. So I'm asking a question, guys. I'm asking a question. Women versus men. I want to know. I really, really, really would love to know your thoughts, okay? Are women more spiritual than men? Are men more spiritual than women? Hi, Gigi. Hello, Miss Lopez. I mean, like, really though, is one more spiritual than the other? Does one possess more power, divine power, than the other? Or is this just like some ridiculousness that is just ridiculous? I came across a post this morning. I was joking around with a friend of mine who had posted some funny video, and it was talking about Soul Tribe and how, we're going to rise up. It was funny. It was cute and it was funny. And I was joking around about how, what do you call it? Because it was a clip from the E.T. movie. And I was joking around about how, can I just ride in your basket? Can I ride in the handlebars? Or like put some pegs in the back? I just don't want to pedal. And, she's joking around. She's like, I'm sure someone from our tribe will be willing. And that was funny and everything. And then someone commented, I don't know who the person that commented is, but they tagged me. And here is the thing. Let me just read it. I don't want to misquote. So I was like, okay. I had said, can I ride on your handlebars or maybe some pegs in the back? And then my friend was like, I think you're in the Soul Fam on one of the other bikes. And I was like, but that means I got to move my legs, girl. Too much effort. You can put me in a baby carrier backpack thing. Does any of the Soul Fam want to volunteer to carry me? So we're joking around. And then someone comments, don't forget that they were all dudes still thinking they had to pedal, even though spirit was clearly propelling them forward. We be goddesses that glide. I don't know. It might just be the morning energies. I don't know. But the only response that I could come up with was, I may be wrong, but I feel like a goddess wouldn't need to point out that they're dudes. And I signed it as a goddess mother of 4 penis-equipped souls. So here's the thing. Who's more spiritual? Women, men, people who use terms like goddess? Who's more spiritual? I mean, what is that even about? I just feel and these are just my personal thoughts, okay? I feel very strongly that a true goddess, a goddess who is balanced in her femininity, will always hold space for a masculine, no matter how wounded. You know what I'm saying? We come from a society that is so ridiculously patriarchal. And this is pretty much, I feel like I can make a blanket statement of all of societies. There might be a few exceptions, but pretty much all societies that I'm aware of are patriarchal, varying degrees of patriarchal domination. And I'm still, I'm like, I am a female. I mean, I look pretty feminine, okay? I look pretty feminine. I am a female who was raised in a family of basically all males. I have quite a few brothers, no sisters. My father made sure to raise me in a very masculine way. Okay, you better not cry. Better not show any weakness. You better not cry. So, you know, I'm just like, my energy is very masculine. I have 4 sons. I have no daughters. I have 4 sons. So all around me, I am surrounded by men, masculine. And I identify with men, masculine. It was only about a year ago that I actually began having female friendships that didn't make me uncomfortable. Okay. It just, for the most part, interactions with other females, it makes me very uncomfortable. Because what I've noticed from these goddesses is that, one, this is the most common. They think I'm after their man. Like, if I really wanted your man, I'd take him. I wouldn't play games. I would take him. He would be mine. But I'm not like that. I'm not one that takes. I'm not one that begs. I'm not one that competes. I just do my own thing. And that's what I see most men that I interact with. That's what I see them doing. You know, they kind of just like, you're fucking drama. Go away. I'm going to do my own thing. That's what I recognize with the men. Now, I do recognize also, I want to acknowledge the fact that with the patriarchal society, the way things have gone and how women have been so suppressed, oppressed, the divine feminine was like squashed down. She wasn't allowed to rise right alongside the masculine so that there would continue to exist a balance, that there was a need for her to rise up. But we also have to take into consideration the very real potentiality that this whole feminism movement, and bitches, you can burn me at the stake for saying this, but as an empowered woman, I believe wholeheartedly a large portion of that feminism movement is a fucking draconian controlled opposition. Let the reverberations of what I just said waft through the halls of your knowing. I don't understand how a goddess could make that kind of statement, that they're all dudes. That's why they're, you know, the assumption that they're stupid for peddling. How can those two things even be placed in the same statement? I don't get it. I don't get it. I don't get it. I mean, I feel like they should be equal. I feel like the masculine was allowed to rise, the feminine was forced to drop. And instead of bashing down the masculine, we should empower them to raise up the feminine. And, you know, this is what I've experienced with men. Most of my life, my friends have been men, okay? Most of my life. And the way I see it, you keep calling a man a dog. You're a dog, you're a dog, you're an animal, you're a dog. Don't be mad if he acts the way you expect him to. I've never had a man who has dated me disrespect me. Ever. I have never, ever been called a bitch by a man that I am dating. Ever. I've been with my husband for 20 years. And boy, when we argue, that shit's like, it gets intense. I get up in his face. It gets crazy. And no matter how crazy I get, never has he ever called me a bitch. Because as a goddess, I will treat you as a god and hold you to that same standard that I hold myself. If you are with me, you are a royal pair, a union of royalty, and you will conduct yourself as such. And the moment you are no longer alignment with the sanctity of my journey, I will release you in love. I will not bash you. I will not say you are a stupid man. I will release you in love. Go do that shit somewhere else. We're no longer in alignment. I'm not going to tell you what to do. I'm not going to correct you. Be who you are. Honor who you are. Just honor it without me on your journey. So now what's more spiritual? People who like to use those kind of labels. And I'm going to be really, really honest. That shit fucking pissed me off. It pissed me off because I am a goddess mother of 4 future kings. Do not disrespect the lineage that I birthed. That fucking pissed me off. And I'm sure they were just joking and stuff, but I am the mother of 4 men. Do not diminish the greatness they are growing to be. And we could totally see this as something that's going to flip-flop, and all of a sudden, men aren't shit. We don't have to respect them. Just like how women aren't shit. They didn't need to be respected. That doesn't create balance. That creates another form of separation. Another form of separation. Curbster on YouTube says, women have been allowed to masculine parts. Good. Now let men have feminine parts. One of the most strongest shows of power that I have ever seen from a man is to embrace his femininity. I'm not talking about dressing in drag. I'm not talking about being flamboyant. I'm talking about entering that nurturing role with 0 shame, 0 reservation. That's one of the most powerful things I have ever seen a man do. Like, ridiculously powerful. That is so ridiculously attractive. To know that my husband's hands are strong enough to destroy, to mangle, to open pickle jars that I can't. Yet what he does is he uses those strong hands to nurture our sons. Like, wow. Wow. That he can be very, very gentle. I mean, don't get it twisted. Like, he can get real ugly and really aggressive, really masculine in a not balanced way if you trigger him just right. But the fact that he can embrace a nurturing aspect of himself is like, wow. That shit's hot. That's hot. It's attractive. It's like very, very attractive. And maybe that's what we need to get back to. This dropping of labels, you know, because like, whatever the hell you want to call yourself, you're still in a meat suit. You're still in a 3rd dimensional planet. You still have amnesia. And no matter how you want to paint that, no matter how much fucking glitter you want to put on those little boxes that you're putting people into, it's still not spiritual. It's not. It's not spiritual to place people in boxes, to put men in men boxes, women in women boxes. You're doing the same fucking thing that was done to the women. Except now you're saying, women, you have to go in another box. You have to take over the box that the men were occupying. We're kicking them out. We're putting them in a different box. It's still all boxes, no matter how much fucking glitter and like beautiful paint and ribbons you put on it. No matter how many spikes you put on there to make it like, yeah, women are powerful. Like, no, one of the most powerful things that I could do is what I'm doing right now. Speaking up against the bullshit of like, oh, but they're dudes. You still need a dude to continue this lineage of humanity. Whatever your sexual orientation, yeah, oh, but we can adopt and blah, 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 blah. Whatever the fuck your sexual orientation is, if you want to have a child, you will still need 1 masculine and 1 feminine put together to form another being. So I think it really needs to stop, this whole notion of like shitting on men, shitting on women. How about you just see people for what they are, souls on a journey heading back home? And I just, I can't believe how triggered I got just seeing that. I'm sure it was said as a joke, but it's just like, I'm so sick of this shit. I'm so sick of this shit. Like, I made a post on Instagram weeks ago. Um, it's talking about how the image was captioned with, would you marry the last person you had sex with? And it began an entire conversation within my head of how, like, you know, people are just so casual about allowing others, strangers, into the sanctity of their inner sanctum. That's sacred space. And it's not that I'm necessarily promoting abstinence. I'm not necessarily pro only married sex. I'm about discernment. Like, do you really know who you're allowing in? Do you? Like, that leaves an energetic signature, pressure injected into your core template. Who are you allowing to inject coding into your core template? And so there was no like, oh, you're a slut if you're doing, no, there was none of that. It was like, discern. Make sure that this is someone who is worthy of entering your temple. Don't just let people in and unwashed feet. Make sure that they carry the same level of sacredness, purity within their heart before you just allow entry. And then some chick comes on and it's like, hey, here's a novel idea. How about we just let people do what they want to do, let them decide for themselves. So I was like, okay, Emmy, before you say anything, go on her profile and look. You don't know if maybe she's experienced some sort of trauma. Just go look real quick. And I typically don't go to people's profiles. I typically don't. I went to her profile and she's touting that she's feminist, pro-feminism, go females, empowered female, empowering other females. No, bitch, you're a fucking fraud. Because as a female, I was speaking my truth and you told me to stop. You are not empowering other females. That's a lie. Because at no point did I say you're a slut or you're a whore if you're having sex. Like, no, I said discern. It wasn't even addressed towards women. It was just a general statement of, let's take a moment to discern who we're allowing into our temple. And then, and I was just like, so you're pro women empowerment, yet you come on a woman's page and tell a woman the sharing of her innermost thoughts is wrong and to stop it. Do that shit make sense? Show me where I wrote telling people what to do. Because my understanding of the words that I wrote was I was asking people to pause within themselves, take a moment to discern, and then decide for yourself what you want to do. If you want to get freak nasty, you go ahead and get freak nasty. Ain't got nothing to do with me. You ain't got to tell me. Just pause, exercise some discernment, and be about your merry way. And she never replied. I think something needs to be said about this. At this point, something definitely needs to be said when even... And then the original video that sparked this whole thought process for me this morning, again, it was the E.T. video, okay? That 1980-something movie called E.T., where the children are attempting to save an extraterrestrial. Children, okay? Maybe if it was grown-ass men, I wouldn't be so triggered. But you say that about children. And as a mother of male children, you just triggered the mama bear in me. You're not going to shit on my kids. You're just not. And even if at some point one of my male children comes to me and tells me they're transgender, then beautiful, now I have a daughter. You're not going to shit on children. I'm not going to sit up. You're not going to use terms like goddess to promote hatred towards a fractal of our totality. No matter how low-key that shit is. No matter how low-key that shit is, I'm not going to sit around and just take that. Because I'm not. Because as a woman, I know my power. I know I birth into being the very things that are needed, that are wanted. Change being one of them. And so in this moment, that's what I'm birthing. A change, a shift in perception as to how we conduct ourselves. Is your behavior disrespectful to a fractal of our family? Our soul family? Is your behavior disregarding the need for reunification? Is it promoting separation? Because if it is, it's not empowering. It's a draconian construct that you are participating in. Are you wrong to participate? That's up to you. Just like it's up to me and how I respond to that. It's up to me and whether I'm going to take the time to go ahead and let you know I'm feeling a need to correct your stance towards me, but you can be on your merry way and keep doing that shit with other people. But you're not going to do that shit with me. Because as a goddess, I own my space. And I will not allow you to drop off your garbage at the doors to my temple. And yes, I'm very opinionated. When it comes to shit like that, I am absolutely opinionated. I'll hear what you have to say. But I know who I am. I know what I'm here to do. And damn it, I'll do it. I'm here to disassemble that draconian paradigm. Through my existence. That's what I'm doing. Through sharing my thoughts, through speaking my truth that no one else has to agree with, no one else has to support, no one else has to spread or accept into their own truths. This is my truth, mine. You could do with it whatever you please, but I own my truth. I know who I am. I know what I'm here to do. And by simply knowing these things and being who I am already doing the work that I came here to do as a soul, to begin deconstructing the draconian foundational principles that have caused such deep separation that even at our most basic, masculine and feminine, we are fractionated. And I mean, I don't know. I think people look at my face and really get confused as to what I'm about, because they see like, oh, she's Asian. She's probably passive. I can't even see what you guys are writing. She's probably a passive Asian, because Asians are passive. If you want to think that, sure. There's nothing fucking passive about me. And they're like, oh, she looks so feminine. Goddess, we'll use the term goddess and we'll bring her into our fold. She's a goddess. Yeah, I'm fucking masculine. I'm masculine. Like, in person, my energy is even more masculine. Like, masculine. Like, for a period of my life, I wondered if I was maybe transgender, because I wholeheartedly identify with male much more than female. Way more than female. It's only within the past, I'd say, year or two that I have begun really enjoying the fact that I am a female. You know, like wearing lipstick again and all of that. Right. Melissa says promoting the same with a different mascot. Mm-hmm. Yep. Separation is separation, no matter the mascot. And if you're promoting separation, I'm not in alignment with what you're doing. And if you're going to tag me, I will fucking respond. Whether you like it or not. I mean, if she hadn't tagged me, I probably would have never seen it. And even if I had seen it, then I'd be like, okay, well, you know what? I mean, she's not addressing you directly. Just leave it alone. 194 Coco, yes. Masculine is, actually, no. Masculine is magnetic. Feminine is electric. Feminine is darkness. Masculine is light. Masculine is the yang, whereas the feminine is the yin. Yin is dark, electric. Mm-hmm. Gigi Lopez says she's masculine and feminine. Yeah. Manuel! Boo, where you been? Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Says living your universal truth. Mama bears the truth. The Bushido code pumping all through your veins. That's what I'm saying. People don't understand this shit. Like feudal Japan, we think that, oh, samurai are men. No, the most heavily trained and fiercest warriors were the women. So the men would go fight the wars outside their village walls, and the women would stay home and hold it down. You're not going to attack that village while the men are gone and think the women are helpless. They will fuck your ass up. You won't see that shit coming. Amen, Manuel. Bushido as fuck. Amen. Mm-hmm. That's how it is. That's how it is. Because there was balance. They understood the concept of yin and yang. There is no evil versus good. You know? I'm fogging up my glasses. I should calm down. Hold on. We might put something else. What are your guys' thoughts? Right, Claudia. Viking women too. Yeah. Yeah. Yep. You look at the animal world, the animal kingdom, and you'll see the female is actually much, much more aggressive than the male. You'll see the female is typically much more capable of sustaining more than just their own life. They tend to be larger than the male. Not all species, but they do tend to be larger than the male as well. And do you see bears screaming from the hilltops? Go women, go females, we're goddesses. Do you see her trying to compete with a big ass male for territory? Or does she use her brain and recognize, I have small cubs. This is a large male. I'm going to escort my children away from harm. I don't need to prove that I can defend them. Shit, that to me, that's goddess behavior right there. That is legit goddess behavior right there. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. So I dislike all the labels. I do. I dislike the labels. I dislike this concept of one is more spiritual than the other. If you think you're more spiritual than someone else, you're fucking spiritually wrong. Spirituality is not a competition. There's no comparisons. Because for any given circumstance, every single individual is going to have a varying experience, a unique experience. Even if you take identical twins and expose them to the same triggers, they will react, respond differently. And that's identical twins, same exact genome. Exactly. Manual, you can't have one without the other. Life is a lesson in duality, part of the laws of Ma'at. So, okay, duality. That's lower level functioning. Not lower level as in derogatory. I'm talking about dimensional level of consciousness. Okay? If you still see masculine and feminine, that you can only be one or the other, You are still in a lower level of dimensional consciousness. Recognize this. You don't have the experience yet to understand the existence of totality. When you recognize and acknowledge you have parts, but you function as whole. So when you're still using terms that cause separation, that carry with it the assumption that one is somehow superior to the other, and you find this in religion, you find this with, feminism, you find this with patriarchal things, that's low-level dimensional consciousness. And what we're trying to do at this point is rise up, because really we all are gods and goddesses with varying degrees of amnesia and ascension. Really, we're an enlightened species. We're already enlightened. We naturally are enlightened. But by virtue of our amnesia, we have forgotten that. And ascension is nothing more than the stripping away of the very blockages that prevent us from accessing these memories, from remembering our heritage, our soul heritage. So if you recognize that, if you rise up enough and recognize that, you'll be disgusted by people and circumstance that continues to fuel that divide. Tracy Christie says, are we not technically one energy where there is no gender whatsoever? Technically, we are one energy with both genders combined. You can read Esoterica that does speak about this. Technically, we are one energy with both genders. Each individual has a varying mix of both masculine and feminine. And I've discovered, this is still a working theory of mine, that homosexuality, lesbianism, is nothing more than an unrecognized imbalance, and not said as derogatory, an imbalance in the masculine and feminine energies that predisposes one to prefer the same gender. And, people who are religious will say that, oh, it's an abomination, really? So you're saying what? Something wicked trumped the power of God and created an abomination without God's permission, and it was allowed to continue? Really? I doubt that. I really, really doubt that. I really, really doubt that. How about this? How about God wanted to experience things in the most efficient way possible and created fractals of itself with varying degrees of masculine and feminine combination? How about that? How about it was intentional and there is no abomination? How about it's a God exploring itself? Self-exploration. Oh, but that's right. Self-exploration is also a sin. So maybe you're just confused altogether. Because, to me, I don't even believe in the concept of evil. I just don't. I don't. When you're looking at energy, when you're looking at creation, evil is a limited human concept. It's a human intention. Let's see. That's beautiful. 194 Coco says, I started to explore my inner feminine after I gave birth. I started wearing skirts, getting my hair long, hiding her until then. Yeah. So for most of my life, it was very shameful to embrace the fact that I'm masculine. Well, what the fuck do you want me to do? I used to get so frustrated. Like, what do you want me to do? I don't want to play with Barbies. I want to play with G.I. Joes. It's the same damn thing. And I was forced to have a purse. I don't want this stupid thing. It's in the way. It's an extra thing to carry. I don't need no lip gloss. And so, some time ago, a couple years back, I went through something very, very difficult, and I was about to shave my head bald, like the whole damn thing. I was about to shave it bald as bald can be. And I already had the clippers. My husband saw me grab the clippers and go upstairs to the bathroom, at which point he followed me to the bathroom. He waited a few minutes to give me time to figure myself out. And then he comes in the bathroom and he's like, "You need me to help you with anything?" I'm like, "No." He goes, "What are you doing?" And I said, "I'm going to cut my hair." "Why?" And at that point, my masculine is really raging. I'm like really aggressive energy at that point. And he's like, "Well, do you want me to do the back for you? Do you want a hug? I think you need a hug. I really, really think you need a hug." And that was one of the most powerful things he could do as a man. That was one of the most powerful. And it was because of that moment, I didn't shave all my hair off. Instead, I just shaved the sides, gave myself a pixie cut. And when I finished, he's like, "I'm not used to seeing you with hair that short, but you look good in everything. So I'll get used to it." And that's a masculine, absolutely embracing that feminine aspect, embracing that nurturer. And when you are able to do that, you open the potentiality to heal others. Because really, I think if he hadn't reacted in the way that he had, I would have no hair. Because masculine energy can really become very, very dense. When you're magnetic, by the laws of Keylontic science, when you're very magnetic, you are pulling the electrons close to you. You're becoming dense. You're becoming more dense. You're dropping in dimensional frequency. Your understanding is lowering. And that's where I was at. I was in a very dense, energetic state. I wasn't able to transcend above what was going on. And then in he comes, flinging that goddess shit around. Because after he did that, I was like, "I don't need your help. Just leave me alone." And I told him to get out of the bathroom, and I locked the bathroom door. And I just basically sat there and cried. Like, what am I doing? Because at that time, I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't know what I was doing at that point. It was like a massive spiraling out of control. And that was one of the most powerful shows of divine masculine. I don't know any other moment that could top that kind of masculinity. Let's see. All right, guys. Thank you for letting me vent. I'm not so mad anymore. I was pretty fucking mad when I read that. I was pretty freaking mad. Because my immediate reaction to the comment on that post was, "What the fuck are you trying to say about my sons?" Immediate. It's like that. That was the knee-jerk reaction. And then I was like, "Calm down. Probably joking." And then started with, "It ain't fucking funny." At which point my husband's like, "Did you eat?" "Have you eaten?" "No, I want to." Oh my gosh. Yeah, my energy was all over the place then. I don't know if you already were familiar with me back then, 194 Coco. That was right at the beginning of when I began to live stream. And I wish my account wasn't taken away. Because I'd love to go back and see those live streams of myself to kind of just remind me how far I've come, not just as a goddess, but also a god. You know, I've learned to balance, to really temper the two with each other. And that sometimes you have to show force, and sometimes the force that's necessary is nothing more than a whisper. You know? I mean, let that soak in. How powerful do you have to be that the force of your whisper is enough to destroy the opposition? How powerful is that? You know? Where your mere whisper can bring a tidal wave of change. You're going to continue to evolve. The moment you no longer evolve is the moment your life here ends. This entire life is nothing more than cycles of evolution. Involution, evolution, involution, evolution, involution, evolution, involution, evolution, just like pistons on an engine, up and down, up and down. And you know how those pistons work. It goes up, creates a spark, and that explosion rams the piston down, which then forces this up, explosion, rams this down, forces this up, explosion, rams this down, forces it up, explosion, rams this down. That is life. Nothing more than the pounding in of your truths, of who you are at the core. And you'll have moments where you're going to explode and it's going to ram you back down, just so another fractal of you can rise back up. And this concept of like, oh, love and light, it's nothing but love and light. We have to pretend with this fake shit of like, I love you, I'm spiritual, so I love you, namaste. That's all bullshit. Seriously. All of that is legit bullshit. Some of the most spiritual things you can do for yourself on your journey is not having sessions with people, not even with me, not tarot readings, not meditation. Some of the most spiritual things you can do is allow yourself to completely be broken, cry about it, and choose to be rebellious enough to stand back up and be like, fuck this, I'm standing back up. You don't have the authority to hold me down. Because I see myself in the mirror and I know within me is both a goddess and a god, and both rise together. And if you are not ready for that yet, that's perfectly okay. Because no one gets to tell you when you're ready for that. Just like you don't get to tell other people when they should be ready for things, other people don't have the right to do that to you. And that's why I don't allow people to tell me what to do, because I would never tell them what to do. Laws of sovereignty, I take them very seriously. I'll share my thoughts. Usually you have to ask me first. You have to ask me to share my thoughts with you, because I don't feel like my thoughts are more important to you than your thoughts. Your thoughts should be number one. And so who the hell am I to be offering unsolicited advice? I'm nobody. But to me, I should be my everyone. And that's how I see for everyone else. Like, you can come to me and ask me and I'll share my thoughts with you. Do I get to tell you what to do? No. Do I get to tell you that you're wrong? No. Do I get to tell you that you should stay or you should go? You're stupid for staying in this relationship. How come you're letting this relationship go? No. Because the only guru in your life should be yourself. You are the only person who has been present for every single circumstance, every single trauma, every single high that you have experienced in this life. You are your own guru. Stop giving your power away to other people. You have to stop giving your power away to other people. Embrace both fractals of yourself. Embrace the fact that sometimes you can be manly, sometimes you can be feminine, and there's beauty in both. There's power in both. You have to remain flexibly strong. The juxtaposition between the two is what creates that catch and release. That catch and release is the flow of soul. And if someone's going to try and dictate to you the way soul is supposed to flow, they can dictate to themselves. I hate that shit. Like, oh, you need to try blah, blah, blah. Did I ask you? Because it's one thing if I asked you, but did I ask you? Oh, I'm not doing spirituality right because I don't meditate. I don't meditate, guys. The only time I meditate is when I do my meditation subscription service. I meditate with a group. I'm incapable of meditating by myself. Am I going to allow someone else to convince me that I'm somehow broken because I'm incapable of meditating for myself? No. Good for you that you can sit quietly. I, however, have hella shit to do in this life. I ain't got time to sit quietly. Yes, sometimes I need to slow it down, but I don't have the luxury you have. Pardon me for having a great calling in life that requires much of my brain to remain fully fired pretty much all day. I'm sorry, I'm incapable of shrinking myself to fit the mold you're attempting to shove yourself into. You know what I mean? If you see it in these terms, maybe you can give yourself enough freedom to be who you truly are instead of trying to spiritualize yourself by numbers, because that's just not going to work. It's just not going to work. Can a surgeon do surgery by numbers? I mean, they have general training, you know, they have extensive training so that they can be prepared for any circumstance, for unknown factors that arise during surgery. Now, if you're going to be doing heart surgery, very, very common procedure, and you're going to do it by the book, number by number, and you're not taking into consideration another portion of the heart is affected because it's not part of the numbers. Your patient is now at risk of death. So even things that are very tricky, very delicate, like surgery, cannot be done by numbers. Just like surgery, spirituality cannot be done by numbers. You're given a certain set of parameters that would be good to work within, potential goals to strive for. But there is no set date for you to have achieved those goals. Those timelines are determined by your higher self, no one else. No one else. So guys, I feel like I've been preaching to y'all. I really feel like I've been preaching, and I feel like I need to stop already. I feel like I've said everything that needed to be said. And it is now time for me to go and do my Claire Tarot readings, which is I was supposed to be doing Claire Tarot readings this morning instead of this live, but this needed to be talked about. It really, really needed to be talked about because that hurt my heart. You know, that like really, really hurt my heart to see that, to see such an ugly display of convoluted, lower dimension goddess behavior. And there's a part of me that wants to like privately message this individual and be like, you know, that was so ugly. That was so fucking ugly. You just dishonored the goddess. But then there's this bigger part of me that's like, you know what? I mean, who the hell are you to get on someone for having a lower level of understanding than you? At some point you were there and you didn't understand. So who the hell are you to be messaging her and saying this kind of shit to her? Keep it moving. You responded. You gave her something to think about without being mean. Let that shit go. You're not her keeper. And so now I went live. Because if not, bitch, what you trying to say about my kids? That really pissed me off. That really pissed me off. But I'm calm now. And it wasn't just about my children. Like, I literally have this issue where I adopt all of humanity's children. Like, I'm everybody's mama. I just feel like I have. I just feel like I have to be everyone's mama. Speaking of moms, oh my God, you guys. Today, physical therapy came early this morning. We were able to use the Hoyer lift for the first time. I was able to secure a lift for my mom. We lifted her into her wheelchair for the first time in like, what, a year? And I was able to roll her around the house for a few minutes. That was the first time she's seen what the house looks like, aside from the front bedroom that she stays in. And near the backyard sliding door, I had my paints set up while we're here so that I could one day complete all the galactic genealogy paintings that I have to do. And she looked at it and she goes, "Who's painting?" Because it was on carpet. "Who's painting?" I said, "I am." And then she's like, "Oh, you paint?" I was like, "I do. I paint for work." And then she's like, "Oh, I like that." I was like, "Oh, Mom." And then she was like, "I'm done." She wanted to be put back in the bed. But yeah, it's, it's like the goddess rises, the god should too. And I think that's probably why I had to say something today, where the goddess is able to rise up. The feminine healing energies, nurturing is rising up for me today. And I just can't sit idle while the masculine is lowered, unintentionally lowered by someone else. I just had to balance that back out. I had to. So, all right, guys, I'm going to call it quits for now. I'll be live. I just realized I have a session. I don't think I believe in days off. I think that's an issue. Next week can be my Tuesday off. But today I will be live after my session is done. I'm going to finish the Claire Tarot readings. So if you are not already subscribed to my YouTube channel, please do subscribe. Hit that notification bell so you know when I come live. If you're watching me on Facebook, please like the page, follow, share it out. Everyone, I'm finally open to having social media stalkers. I'm getting over that phase of my life where I feel like I have to hide. Okay, just don't traumatize me. Only social media, not in real life. No real life stalking, only social media. So Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube, my handle is all the same. Emmy Evolving. Find me. Bye, guys. Let me close this out.